Today we're going to have a little chat, a heart-to-heart if you will. Today I'm going to teach a lesson about perceptions, about min-maxing, and most importantly, about skill. Today we're going to talk about a mech that gets no shortage of hate, disdain, and clowns on the internet flapping their slack jaws, probably from inside the cockpit of such popular clown cars as the Mad Cat, or one of the more souped-up variants of inner sphere mechs beefed up with Lost Tech and advanced electronic warfare suites. No, today we're going to talk about a mech that doesn't need to rely on Lost Tech to kick your ass. A mech that's still useful despite it not being a lumbering weapons factory, bristling with firepower and not enough heat sinks to handle its own output. We're going to talk about the BNC-3E Banshee. If the BNC-3E were a person, it would be Bob Odenkirk's character from the movie Nobody. No frills, unassuming, and absolutely ignored by everyone despite being capable of dishing out a butt-blasting ass-whooping at the drop of a hat when provoked.
What are you still doing here, old man?
I'm gonna fuck you up.
In the mid-Succession War era, you were lucky to even have a battle mech of any kind at all. Mechs were put together with whatever parts you could sweep up off of the floor and cobble into any semblance of a working war-fighting machine. No one ever intends to snort cocaine out of a shag carpet, but it's the unfortunate side effect of addiction. When there's no other options on the table, at least good ones, you're gonna have to stick your nose in the carpet and hope Atlas doesn't shrug. Now, maybe you're the kind of person who picks whatever the best mech there is to use at any given time and pay no attention to things like cost, battle value, or availability of spare parts after a campaign is over. Not everyone has the spare change laying around to repair and maintain a Hauptmann or get in parts for a king crab. Let me guess, you're the kind of person who buys brand name cereal and makes sure everyone who comes over to your house knows it, so they don't even have a fantasy that you rock that Malto meal shit.
You're serving us gruel?
Not quite. This is crusty brand imitation gruel. 9 out of 10 orphans can't tell the difference.
Before I tear what's left of my hair out, let's take a look under the hood. For 95 tons, the Banshee clips along at a respectable 64.8 kilometers an hour at top speed. This is important because the majority of the Banshee's contemporaries that you'll often hear cited by people as things they'd pick in the assault class before they'd pick the Banshee don't. It also carries a chonky 15 tons of armor. Insofar as guns, sure, a lone PPC, autocannon 5, and small laser is nothing to write home about, on the surface. But let me ask you a question. What if you could have a mech that had a good combination of armor, maneuverability, and halfway decent, strategically placed firepower, and the ability to use it? With 16 heat sinks, even a critical hit to the engine isn't enough to stop it from continuing to be able to use its main weapons without too much, if any, concern over heat. And further, what if you could use your above-average speed for an assault mech to get into physical combat range and knock someone's fucking block off with your size of Illinois fists, or jam your humongous boots so far up their ass they'll shit leather and taste the sole for a week? Only 4 tons lighter in the armor department than the venerated Atlas, the Banshee's got the plating to soak up a good chunk of ranged damage that its patently decent maneuverability doesn't manage to evade. And when it's in your face, well, let me tell you a story. A single punch from the Banshee's battle fist is gonna pop your collar in a hurry if it connects with your cockpit, and it has a 1 in 6 chance of doing so. Twice. If it doesn't just backhand you like your mom for mouthing off on a Saturday afternoon, it's gonna leave a dent that will turn you into a convertible, where even so much as a lowly machine gun or an errant SRM could leave you through with money. That is, of course, if the pilot doesn't straight up choose blunt force trauma over finesse, dropping a 19-point kick with a -2 bonus to hit. Popular contemporaries in the era the Banshee was meant to operate in can't hack that shit without it being a serious red flag. However, this doesn't change the fact that 1 or 2 good slaps with the Banshee's PPC to the leg of one of the more armored enemies of the era would leave them ripe to have the Banshee's foot finish the job. The other thing you need to consider here is the Banshee is throwing down the DACA every single opportunity it has. While every single fucking mech on that list is busy cooling off after firing their main guns, the Banshee is still blasting away as it makes a slow and steady approach. Any mech warrior with a grasp of even basic tactics will keep himself relatively protected by speed and terrain on approach, and once it makes it up into close combat range, you're already in trouble. Sure, it doesn't have the flash and popularity of some of the other guys, but none of the other guys look as good in stunner shades, and they're all jealous they can't pull off the look. The Banshee isn't limited to fire support. With even a barely competent pilot, the Banshee is full of all kinds of fuck around and find out, with the advantage of being seen as benign by enemies who would quickly write it off as a non-entity. Until it isn't. For 1,422 battle value, you can afford to stick a pretty decent pilot behind the sticks without getting into ridiculous territory and tilting your scales past the point of being able to build a supporting lance that isn't full of smaller, less capable mechs just so you can say you have something beefy in a command role. So in short, the Banshee doesn't suck. And to the clowns, I say this: don't come at me with your weak sauce Polly Pocket Build-A-Bear bullshit. Get good, sucker. I need a drink.